Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and a warm welcome to the Red and Blue Review. My name is Nick Philpott. I'm your host as always, and as you can see, I'm joined by loads of different people. Oh, I can hear people's computers going off in the background and windows firing up. Teresa Baker, let's start with you first. Hello. What, again, because we spent a lovely pre-match together today, having a drink. How are you?
No, I'm great, thank you. Had fun today.
It was good to see you.
Huh?
So I've got feedback coming back from somebody. If any of you have got another device on, can you mute it, please? There it is. Can anybody else? It seems to have gone away. No, it's still there. Right, Ian Lyons. Hello, mate. Good evening.
Ian Lyons.
Or Ian Noble, even.
You like, really, Nick? I don't really mind. Hello, good evening, everybody in Facebook land. I tell you, I'm not sure it's a good idea doing a show on the day of a game because I'm just back from it and I'm absolutely knackered. But it's the first time we've done this for a while, isn't it?
In fact, it was somebody actually said to me in one of the chats earlier, don't you normally do it the day after? And I'm just the same as you are. I had a couple of pints at lunchtime. I'm
Exactly.
a bit jaded. My voice is a bit husky. Jason, you must be the same. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, same knackered. Voice is gone again. But yeah, all good.
The trouble is I'm working all week, so it's been and Jill's not feeling very well, so it's been a bit difficult to fire one up for tomorrow night. But it doesn't matter. We've still got another point. And welcome back to Chris Youngford, your second appearance. Chris, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you. I'm totally sober, but I'm full of energy drink because it's 1 o'clock over here.
Is it 1 o'clock in the afternoon over
morning?
there?
Yeah,
1 o'clock in the morning over there.
Yeah,
and what part of Stan are you in?
In Kyrgyz Republic, Kyrgyzstan. I'm in Bishkek.
Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan. Well, mate, you're welcome back to the review. Great to have you on board as always. Teresa seems to have disappeared, but never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get on to everything, don't forget to ask your smart speaker to play the latest Red and Blue Review podcast. We are also broadcasting right now live on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, good evening and welcome to you. Wherever you are watching in the world, on whatever device you are watching, welcome. If you're listening to us back on a podcast, maybe on your way to work on a Monday morning, thank you for giving us your ears. I've just been told while I'm talking, the Palace ladies, who I'm going to be talking about in a minute, are away at Coventry next Sunday. Okay, so we haven't got a game. So if anybody wants to get down or go up to Highfield Road, they're back at Highfield Road now, aren't they?
No idea.
Coventry?
No, it's Rico, you mean, do you?
Oh yeah, Rico.
Oh, the old ground.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
they're back in the Rico. That's what it is.
Rico,
So the girls are playing next Sunday. We shall do all that. So coming up this evening, I've got a couple of bits of news from the club, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the ladies. We're going to be talking about the game in some detail today, and I want to focus on a couple of things. I think it was a real good point, and we were actually unlucky at the end there not to win it. Okay, it'd be remiss of us, and we seem to be doing this far too regularly now, that I kick off the show with showing the Red and Blue Reviews commiserations to the family of Roger Hunt, another World Cup winner, 1966 World Cup winner, sadly left us this week. And it's Teresa's just said to us pre-show that apparently now there's only 3 of the original 66 team left: Jeff Hurst, George Cohen, and who was the other one? Oh no, it's Bobby Charlton.
Bobby Charlton.
Yeah, Bobby Charlton. So we're losing them far too rapidly. God rest his soul. Rest in peace from everybody at Red and Blue Review. Okay, I'm going to kick off the show with a couple of bits of news from the club. Some of you may be aware of what I'm about to say, and some of you may not. Crystal Palace are reportedly amongst a host of Premier League teams lining up a move for Reading midfielder Jonathan Swift, or John Swift, in the January window. According to Football League World, the Eagles are one of 4 top clubs interested in the highly rated 26-year-old services after the Royals incurred a points deduction. Swift has entered the final year of his contract with Reading, but the Championship outfit were hoping a promotion push will be enough to convince their prize asset to stay. Now, I wonder if there is any connection there with the link to this guy to our first goal scorer this afternoon. And I just wanted to. It's good to see that they're continuing along the vein of looking at younger players, which we'll come on to later on. We're going to be talking about that. And talking about the ladies today, they had a game at Bromley at home against Sheffield United. The Blades enjoyed the Lions share the possession in the first half, but it was Palace who had the best chances. And in the 23rd minute, Coral Haynes' effort on the edge of the box was parried out into the pass of Millie Farrow, but the number 9 couldn't capitalise. But so points were all square at Bromley at the end of the game. And I say next week they're away at Coventry. So if anybody is desperate for their football fix, because obviously it's the international break, get up to Coventry and give the girls a hello. Ian, can you see anybody out in Red and Blue Review Facebook land? Because my iPad seems to have just gone to sleep in a minute. Can you, if you can you say some hellos?
Yeah, I can, absolutely. Yeah, Matty Cannon, Tom Clark, Samuel, usual suspects, Daniel Garlick, Phil Usher, Joan Wells, Jack Mackenzie Kerr. Tom Clark.
That's me.
I've got some feedback on my thing, Nick, but hopefully it'll go away. So, yeah, Simon Philpott, keep it in the family. You know, there's a few people on there tonight. So welcome one and all. Glad you could join us. If like me, thanks, Nigel, by the way. Nigel said in the chat, I'm a lightweight because I've just got back from the game and I admitted I was knackered. But so there we are. So I'm a lightweight. There you go.
Right, we'll kick off a little bit. Chris, I'll come to you first. Overall, just a quick resume of your thoughts of the actual whole game in its entirety. I know you're going to do your first and second half later on, but what did you think on your stream? Because obviously the rest of us were at the game. On your stream, what did you think?
Yeah, it was a similar story. If we don't make the most of this possession, we don't get some clear-cut chances, we're going to get punished. But it's so frustrating when it's our own mistakes that lead to the punishment of these.
Which I'm sure we'll cover in great detail.
Overall, we deserve to win. We deserve to win that game again. Leicester are beatable. I think a lot of teams, even around the lower half of the table, around our place at the moment, are going to get points off them this year. So 1 point's okay, but I think Brendan Rodgers could be in trouble soon.
And Jay, where are you in the ground, mate?
Homesdale, Bucky, near the back. Bucky, so I'm sitting back.
Did you ever lie down again this week or not?
No, it wasn't too bad today. I was a bit more lively. To be fair, I mean, at half time, a lot of the fans clapped the team off. Oh, we're losing 2-0, but a lot of the fans in Homesdale were clapping the team off. You know, I noticed it was a bit depressing, wasn't it, to be 2-0 down? But a lot of the fans are clapping the team off, and that shows a lot, doesn't it, about how the team are playing at the moment.
Do you know what, mate? I think that's a good point, because I think people are actually buying into his philosophy and what he's trying to do. If I'm honest with you, because we weren't disgraced. Trees, your thoughts on the overall game?
I think most of us thought going into half time we're 2-0 down. It's going to be a long, long afternoon, but we should have known better. We should have trusted in Patrick Vieira, shouldn't we? I mean, the subs were mighty. I think they were inspired. And to see us come back, I think last season we would have probably walked out of there being 4 or 5-0 down. Last season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it
was a joy. I would have taken a point before the game. So
the one thing that is dead and buried in is Roy ball, because that's not what we play anymore, is it? What are your overall, before we go into the detail, your overall thoughts on the game?
Yeah, you're right. It's very different football, isn't it, this season to what we saw last. I think that we looked at it, you know, Leicester. We looked at Leicester's midweek exploits away in Poland. They kind of got back to Leicester till Friday morning. They would have travelled down yesterday, so that played to our hands a little bit. I think they were probably a little bit tired from their travels. Interesting that they made us attack the Homestead in the first half, which doesn't happen very often. But it's not many British managers that do that. I don't think the foreign boys really think about that too much. But I think Sean Dyche was the last person to do that from memory. But I think that might have just thrown us a bit, because they know that we got our routine, you know, and we like attacking the Whitehorse in the first half. So I don't think it made a big difference, but nevertheless, it was something that was fairly obvious. But yeah, you know, like Teresa said, you know, taking the point, got to respect the point in the Premier League. We gifted them the goals. Both of them really 2-0 down. A very bit of different atmosphere at half time compared to Monday night. That was exceptional. But yeah, you're right. We weren't booing the team off or anything like that today. And Patrick Vieira earned his money, didn't he? He really earned his money today.
We're going to be covering that in great detail later on. And thank you for raising it. So let's do some hellos. We'll do the lineup next, please, Ian. Gary Clark, good evening. Summer Kearson, Nigel Croucher, Steve Chandler, Lee Clark, Paul Bristow, Paul Peters, Georgia Wagwu, Tony Quinn. Good evening to each and every one of you, wherever you are in the world. George, good to see you in the fan zone today. Okay, so the lineup for today's game. Well, the bottom line is we were unchanged again. Guaita in goal, Ward, Gehe, Anderson, Mitchell, Milivojevic, which we're going to come on to in a minute. MacArthur, Gallagher, Ayew, Edward, and Zaha. But most importantly of all, I also want to touch on the bench, because what we proved today is how strong the bench is. And it's with Butland for the goalkeeper, Tompkins, Kelly, Klein, Kouate, Hughes. Again, I want to touch on Hughes in a minute. Schlupp, Elise, and Benteke. Gentlemen, I'll come to you. Jace, I'm going to come to you first. Let's go to the bench to kick off with, because we know how important the bench was today, but I want to talk about somebody who wasn't involved and who hasn't been involved. What do you think old Hughesy's got to do to get a game in place of Milivojevic?
Well, the thing is, we don't see what happens in training, do we, Phil? So, sorry, Nick. We don't know what happens in training, so we don't see what's happening. Sorry. So it's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, is he 100% match fit, or is he going to change anything around? I don't know, but I thought Luca played well against Brighton, to be fair. So I think it would have been harsh to drop him. I think he played right today. So again, I think it would be harsh to drop Luca. And I think he's the only player who comes in for him. I don't think you're going to drop Jimmy Mack. And obviously today, Gallagher got dropped for Schlupp. So I think we just got to bide our time with him. Just got to wait. Just got to bide our time. Is he 100% match fit? We don't know. We don't know what's going on in training. But I think Luca's played well in the last week games. So I think it would be harsh to drop Luca in place for Hughes. I just think we've got to be patient. He's going to be a squad player. He will get his chance. There will be injuries. So we've just got to wait. We've just got to bide our time.
Well said, mate. Well said. Mr. Noble, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just think this is one of the times when you look back at that cup exit and you think, actually, it would have been really good still to be in the Carling Cup, or League Cup, whatever it's called these days, because had we been, he might have some game time there. Clearly, he needs minutes. He's short of match practice. Don't be surprised to see him in the under-23s next time out, to give him some minutes. But you're right, Jace, it's a long season, and he's the kind of player we need, because MacArthur and Luca, they're going to get knocks. They will be times when they get injured during games, they'll have to go off. And Will Hughes is not a bad player to bring in that central midfield role. So I agree with you. Let's just bide our time. I don't think he deserves a start just yet or anything like that. So interestingly, one player absent from the squad completely, and I don't think he's injured, is Jaro Riedeveld.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that as well. Yeah, do it now. Very strange. I don't think he's fancied, if I'm honest with you. But go on. Any no reason why?
Well, I'm just surprised to see him missing. That's all. I just think I want to put him on that bench somewhere, probably instead of Kelly, because you've got Tompkins, but then you're short of defensive cover. You've got Kouate in there, maybe you can cover at the back as well. So I'm just a bit surprised to see Riedeveld missing out altogether. That's all I'm saying.
Chris, and your views on cameos that Riedeveld's made over the last few weeks?
I just don't think he has any effect on the game. I just don't think I can think of a game where he's bossed it or he's changed things. His goal against Newcastle, I think that was the only game that I thought he's made a difference in. That was an effective goal from last season, and I can't even think, that was when Jaro got hold of midfield and changed the game. I can't, in his whole playing career for Palace, think he's had a big impact on the match.
Tracy, your thoughts on Jaro? Are we missing a trick?
I've never been a great fan of Jaro Riedeveld. I've never seen him come on the pitch and just light it up. And I think there was talk, wasn't he seen with the under-23s last week, I think. Well,
they played Spurs and won 4-3, I believe. I don't know whether he featured or not. Maybe somebody in Facebook land can tell us.
I don't think he did, no.
No, didn't.
But it wouldn't fuss me if he left.
Oh, strong stuff indeed. So, no, I mean, you're absolutely entitled to your opinion. I mean, where was he before? He was Anderlecht. Wasn't it Anderlecht?
Ajax.
Yeah. He came with Frank de Boer, didn't he? Frank de Boer brought him in at that beginning of that season 4 years ago, and then he didn't feature for a long time. And then last year he did play a lot, So I don't think we should spend ages talking about him. But all I'm saying is I'm surprised not to see him in the squad. I
know Joe is a very big advocate of him, but I haven't seen it yet. Anyway, Crystal Palace were unbeaten going into this game. 3 home league games, conceding only 1 goal before today. However, the Eagles have only won once in their 6 Premier League games under Patrick Vieira. Is that a need for concern? So I don't know. To me, it's the style of football. It's something that's actually changing at the moment. I'm just going to give you an overview, and then Chris, I'm going to let you go into a little bit of detail, if you don't mind, in the first half. So I've called this show tonight Vieira Genius. 2 second half scoring substitutions were enough to earn Palace a second consecutive point at Selhurst Park. Brendan Rodgers' side opened the scoring completely against the run of play when Kelechi Iheanacho capitalised on a mistake from Joachim Anderson before slotting past Guaita on 31 minutes. Jamie Vardy added a second 6 minutes later with a cool finish from a Harvey Barnes assist. Chris, over to you, mate.
So, yes, there's not too many notes from the first half, but there's plenty from the second half. First half, there's an early chance for Vardy, which I was surprised he didn't put away from the cross. Looked like he's going to the far post. You just expect him to poke it in at the back post, but he didn't go in. And then 13th minute, there was a save from Wilf. Good save from Schmeichel. Then I've got 29th minute, Bertrand got booked, which was surprising because it was his first foul. And I think there are other more dirty plays on the Leicester side that could have been booked by that point. Then it says 30 minutes, Luka free kick, 31st minute, Iheanacho scores. And then 37th minute, Vardy scores. And the overnight I've really got is a 45th minute was when Ayew failed to cut it back. Not say that I had a bad game, but that was just the note I put down there. If he cut that back, I thought we were going to go on to win it. But obviously in the second half, we did a good enough job of claiming back.
Hold that there, because you've actually hit on something. To the rest of you, I don't know if you saw this, and I'm sure you did in the ground. That cutback that Chris is talking about, was aimed at Wilf. Did you see Zaha go absolutely ballistic? Jay, you're nodding your head. Did that set the tone for Zaha for the rest of the day? Because he was in one of his sultry moods, was he not?
I don't think Zaha was too bad, but that moment you talk about, he was riled. He was really fuming at Ayew. He was giving him lots of grief. There was lots of verbals going from Wilf to Ayew about that cross. Yeah, he was fuming. Really fuming. I think there was a few players in the box for Barstow, and he missed every Palace player, didn't he? In the box. Yeah. So, it maybe it's the time, but yeah, Wilf wasn't happy. He gave him a lot of verbal after that misplaced pass. But I will say one thing on the first half. As well as we played, and I did think we played quite well, there was a lot of misplaced passes all over the pitch on the Palace team. I felt we weren't as sharp as it was against Brighton, and that's just my personal opinion on the first half.
And you know what, mate? You make a really good point. There was. I tell you what, I was comparing the 2 games myself while I was standing in the homestyle. All the little one touch, all the little tricks that we were doing on Monday night, all the little flicks, all the intricate football on Monday night, it was coming off. Teresa, did you notice that the same thing today? Jason just said
I did at one point, but I was going to say there were some beautiful cross field passes from one side to the other. That Anderson was hit that they were picking up on the left hand side. Yeah, there was a couple that were absolute beauties. But yeah, I think our passing wasn't as sharp as it has been the last couple of games. It was just one of those days where they would have done a trick maybe against on Monday and it would have come off, and it just didn't today. And the ball sometimes just didn't fall for us like it had done before.
They weren't getting the first and second balls, and I think Jason summed it up correctly that they just weren't as sharp as they were on Monday.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, there were misplaced passes all over the pitch. Not just from us, from Leicester as well, actually. You know, balls going off for throw-ins that really shouldn't be going off for throw-ins.
Indeed.
Yeah, it was a scrappy game, wasn't it? It was scrappy. It was scrappy.
Yeah, it was, mate. Carry on with your quick second half highlights, mate.
Yeah, and it's the next notes really are 15 minutes, 51st minute, 53rd minute, 53rd minute attempts missed by various Palace players. Then Elise came on for IU in the same just after that. A couple more attempts missed. I can't see everything. Oh yeah, a sub for Leicester. Charger came off, and then 61st minute is when Elise attempt blocked, and Elise scores. Doing his best sort of Edouard impression, which later on Slack tries to copy as well, coming on the pitch and scoring away straight away. Then there's about 10 minutes of fouls. Madison on for Inachedo, Slack comes on for Gallagher, as I said. Slack has a shot block. Slack then scores. Anderson Brooks for Brighton for Lickman. That's when MacArthur then takes out Vardy, which he then gets booked for. They take over Edward, and then that's about it. Then the Sluts miss and 90 plus whatever it might have been, 90 plus 3, I think it was.
Guys that are at the game, okay, the other three of you that are at the game, I spoke to Jill on the way home, or Jill phoned me. And by the way, remiss of me not to say, Mr. Holyoke, and many happy returns for today. It's his birthday today. He claims to be 21. I don't know if that is years or... Yeah, I don't know if that's quite right. I don't know if it's 21 years or stone. I'm not too sure what it is. But anyway, many happy returns, mate. We love you very much. And I hope you're feeling better, because he did feel crap, bless his heart. And he was saying to us that you might not have seen it in the ground, but when Vardy went down, it was actually Jimmy Mack that caught him. Okay, It was Jimmy Mack that called the bench on to come and help him, because he knew that he'd caught him really seriously. And apparently what it was
he winded?
Yeah, it was actually his sternum, love. Where's his sternum, V? Nurse T.
Sternum.
And that's exactly how Joe described it. He said, Jimmy Mack accidentally, and it's completely accidental, he caught him with an elbow right. He called it in that big bone between your chest, is what I said. I said, do you mean the sternum? And he said, yes. Okay. And it was actually Jimmy Mack that called the trainers on, because he knew he'd hurt him. I don't think it was on purpose, was it him?
No, not at all. No, it was accidental. But it reminded me a little bit of the. I don't know if you saw this Leeds-Liverpool game earlier in the season, when Leeds had a player sent off on the challenge on young Harvey Elliott, because he wasn't going to get sent off, and then the VAR tells the ref, actually it was a really bad challenge, the lad's badly injured, send the Leeds player off. And I thought for a moment they were going to do the same for Jimmy Mack, because it was an accident and it went on for ages, and clearly VAR probably had a look at it, and I thought, well, he can't get sent off for this, and I just feared the worst. Then they had the Ghostbuster on. Do you see the Ghostbuster come on in his white suit?
What was all that about?
I'll tell you what that was
Mad,
about. Because the paramedics are told that if it's a possible airway injury, and it sounds like he'd been winded, and they were having to use airway, it's called an aerosol generating procedure, and after we're full, it's what we were in resus if we've got to intubate a patient or ventilate a patient.
It's really good to have an expert with us, isn't it, lads?
Yeah, makes a bloody change on this show, doesn't it?
I wonder if Vardy stayed down a bit longer because he was a bit knackered and needed a breather, because I thought for a moment he wasn't going to carry on, I thought his game's finished, but he got up, then he played on.
Well, they'd used all their subs by then, hadn't they?
They had, yeah, you're right.
Replaced
Great shout. Great shout. Right, so Palace impressed early in the second half and went close through Odsonne Edouard, who crashed his effort against the crossbar. I thought that was going in. After cutting inside Sonchu and Vestergaard, they finally made the breakthrough when replacing Jordan Ayew early in the second half. 19-year-old, we need to talk about this, 19-year-old Elise saw his first effort from Tyrick Mitchell's cross blocks before he brilliantly volleyed it, the rebound past Schmeichel. Now, just go back one line there, okay? Our young Tyrick Mitchell crossed the ball. Our young new right winger scored the goal. Jay, I haven't spoken to you about how good or bad we did in the transfer window and your thoughts on the summer signings. Eulogise, please, on those two players. What have we got as a club?
I think we've got a lot of progression going forward in terms of youth, the youth setup, and the players we're buying as well. I've got a couple of good friends who are Reading fans, and they both said to me, "You've got a great player in Elise, but is he ready yet for the Premier League? Probably not. You need to give him a little bit of time. He won't be the best defensive midfielder you've got, but certainly going forward, he'll be interesting and it'll be exciting. But don't put too much pressure on him just yet. Don't put him in the first team just yet. Give him a bit of time." And certainly with Elise, we've got an exciting player going forward. And what a great goal! He didn't try to power it. He just placed it in, didn't he? That's his first chance he's ever with us, and he scored. So hopefully that will give him massive amount of confidence going forward. But we've had a great transfer window. All the players we've signed, I think, have been great players. More youthful. The average age has come down 7 or 8 years. The wage bill's come down. It's all positive. From what I can see, it's all positive. There's no negatives in any of them signs we've bought and we've purchased. And I think with Elisa, we've got a good player.
Well said, mate.
We've just got to give him time, mate. We've got to give him time. And I know people are saying he should be in the team, the first 11. I disagree. I think you've got to give the guy 20, 30 minutes every game. Give him that time. Give him 20, 30 minutes. He's only a young lad. Don't put too much pressure on him. Don't put too much pressure on him defending because he ain't that great defending. So we just got to give him a bit of time. But he looks like a great signing. And I've been told by Reading fans he is a good signing. So, yeah.
And we got him on a 5-year deal.
Yes.
I just need to mention. I noticed a message go through on the screen a minute ago. We have our friends watching from palaceeagles.com. Now, palaceeagles.com, they're not connected to Red and Blue Review. We just work closely with them on lots of tweets and lots of work in the background. Everybody out in Facebook land, if you're on Twitter, get onto Twitter because Ian Noble is currently running a competition on behalf of Red and Blue Review from the Red and Blue Review account, talking about how many points we're going to generate in October. Make sure you get on there. Make sure you've liked it and shit. Go on, Ian. You carry on, mate.
You can't enter now. That's been and gone. It was a 24-hour. That's not quite 24 hours thing. But now we've had a game. You can't enter now. So the competition's closed, right? So we run a little thing on Twitter. We've asked how many points we'll be getting in October. We've got some really good responses to that. And we will give away some Eagle.com merchandise to the winner.
Palaceeagles.com.
Palace, yeah. Sorry, Palace.com. Forgive me. And yeah, so we'll do it when we review the Man City game at the end of the month.
Fine.
All
and
right,
just to let you know what we've got all different sizes of palaceeagles.com's merchandise. We've got hoodie, we've got 3 or 4 t-shirts, we've got bobble hats. I'll show it to you another game, maybe at the Man City game, and I'll show you. It's all sitting over there and ready to wing its way off to you. So thanks for doing that, Ian. So when Ian does run these competitions over the next few weeks, please get behind it and make sure you drop onto palaceeagles.com and give the guys a shout. They've got a great app, a great Crystal Palace app. If you're interested, jump onto their website and subscribe to that. Anyway, so where were we? We were talking about Elise's goal, weren't we? And to me, it's very. I'm not interested in the 2 errors at the back today. The calls their goals, okay? Although we will talk about them. It's just, I think that was conditions. I have got right. We'll come on to our second goal a little later. I want to talk about departments. Guaita, in my mind, didn't have much to do today. I don't think he had the best game against Brighton, but ho-hum, he earned us enough points last season to be in massive credit in my eyes. The back 4. I wanted to start off, guys, and talk about the back 4, if you don't mind. I saw something today that, okay, we just mentioned that Roy Ball's gone forever, okay? I saw something today that I have never seen, and in actual fact, it actually led to their first goal. And it was, I'm standing on where the HF used to be, down in the bottom corner of the Homesdale, bottom right-hand corner as you're facing the pitch, okay? And both of our fullbacks, I'm talking about left-back and fullback, were interchanging passes together in my quadrant of the pitch. So down towards the corner flag in front of me. We're a back 4. They're defenders. This is in an attacking position. The trouble with it is, because that's obviously what Vieira's instilled them to do, push up, press higher. Christ, they were pressing high. It was in my quadrant of the pitch. What it actually created is the ball then broke from there, leaving Guihi and Anderson exposed for the first goal. Guihi then passed the ball across to Anderson. Anderson then slips, and we know the rest. I'm going to start with Chris, if you don't mind. Chris, can you talk me through what you thought of the back four today? Any problems, any issues, or any strengths?
I thought he did his job very well. And I don't think anyone else did particularly well. Anderson's mistakes, he's obviously aware of what he did. But it's just Mitchell. The amount of times I'd see him so far forward. Apparently his average position was on the halfway line. You know, these heat maps they do. Yeah. Which I'm not surprised by. I think even Van Arnholt will probably be further back than that on average. Ward just looks shaky. Whenever he gets near the box, the attacking box, it's like he doesn't want to be there. He feels like he just wants to sort of kick the ball away and run back to his correct position. So you have to give him credit for trying to adapt to this system. And I think, like we're talking about Riedewald, Vieira's probably finding a few people that aren't quite up to it. And Ward's got to convince him as well. But no, overall, they didn't really have to do too much. Really, again, it's nice to watch them play the ball about between each other, but we're going to make mistakes like that if we keep doing that. I mean, Brighton did it when they first got Potter there. That the amount of times they have a striker pounce on their centre backs when they're mucking about, and they're not quite cut out for it. Like Duncan Duffy are not the most nimble with their feet. So we'll do the same. We have the same problem with our team, I think.
Jace, we've got. Sorry, crack on, mate.
Yeah, one thing that concerned me today a little bit, and I don't remember seeing it before, but there must have been the same style. Every time we've got a throw on today, especially in the first half, we threw it back. Waldy, Mitchell, especially on the right, Waldy threw it back, throws it back to the centre back, across the back four, sometimes back to the keeper, sometimes across the back, tippy-tappy across the back. And, we weren't really getting forward at all. And there was one occasion where it was halfway into the opposition half, and he throws it back, and it's back at the goalkeeper. I think if you chuck it down the line, we're almost on the corner flag, in the attacking third. And I just didn't get why we were doing that so often today. It frustrated me in the first half especially.
And you know what?
Can I just comment there, Ian?
Go for it.
It's just that one thing that frustrates me at Palace, and it's been going on for years now, is that when we get going, there's no people running off the ball. There's no one running. You can't get offside from a throw-in. But, like we say, we don't go forward enough, do we? And there's not enough players making the space or running into space when we get a throw-in. And like I say, we go back more often than not, don't we? We don't go forward. I think going back's the easy option, isn't it? We go back, we pass it along the back four, it's the easy option. But you can't get offside from a throw-in. And there's no one, when we get a throw-in, there's no one making space. There's no one running into space. And to me, it's almost schoolboy stuff. Almost schoolboy stuff, isn't it? Get a throw-in, space.
Yeah.
We don't do it.
I agree totally.
It's a bit of a negative, isn't it?
It is, and it's right to say that, because it's frustrating watching it. Because if you look at a team like Brentford, they've got a long throw specialist, and they've actually scored goals from that. So when I played football a long time ago, a pretty poor level, but we used to work the line, chuck it down the line, and invariably you're going to win another throw in, and then you can get into the final third, and you get someone that can chuck the ball in the box, and actually you can cause problems from that. So we're just not doing that at all. So, someone tell me why we're not doing it, because I don't understand.
Teresa?
Yeah, I completely agree. And the other thing that I hate to see is us passing the ball horizontally between players in our own goal. And you see Edouard, he's pressuring keepers. It's not going to take much for a Salah to do that to Gaeta when they're tippy-tapping it across right in front of our goal line, just to rob the ball. It's dangerous.
And I just want to come in here, if I may. In the chat, Simon Krebin is in Canada. Simon, good evening, mate. Long time no speak. I need to know: are you planning, COVID allowing, to come and visit us in the UK this year? Because we want you on the show if you are. Right. So that's the back four. Jason, I was about to ask you a question. My thoughts on the back four is that we've got a great mixture there of youth and experience, with Wardy, with Anderson's experience against Guihi and Mitchell's youth, if you like. Okay, but I think we've got a great blend there. I think they're learning off each other, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Mitchell's been brilliant. I think going forward, I think Mitchell's been excellent this season. I think going forward, sometimes he gets a bit exposed because he's on his own, but I think going forward he links up well with Wolf, doesn't he? I think Wolves, you know, Bless's been doing there, near 10 years now. I think Ward's been an excellent servant for us. He still puts in great performances. And like I said on Monday, he won a great tackle before we got the penalty. You know, and I think he's been a great servant for us. You know, the two guys at centre back, you know, what great signings they are. You know, what are we getting for 40, 50 million? They're two great players, and they will learn by their mistakes. You know, it's hard to take today, isn't it? The mistakes have been made, but hopefully they'll learn by their mistakes and they'll only get better for it. But in terms of back four, we've got a back four. You know, it's frustrating that we're letting in some goals, but I think going forward, it's a lot more positive, isn't it? A lot more positive.
Massively. I mean, don't be downbeat about a point today. Ian, can you see Colin Waterman's comment in the chat? Because I'd like you to read it out if you can. Yes, Ian?
Okay, so the team as a whole, for me, yeah. Okay, so the team as a whole is playing fantastic every game. Can't fault how we're playing and the effort and the attacking threat we're achieving now. Don't forget, it's only 7 games in. There'll be mistakes, and it's been individual mistakes that rather than team mistakes that have cost us. Also, we're now having other players stepping up. We can rely on more than just Zaha. Just need to be a little bit more patient. We haven't played our full best team yet either, so don't be as hard on the lads. No, that's a good comment. Yeah, it's fair comment. I don't think we're being hard on them. I just think that there were aspects of today that weren't quite as sharp as other games, and we're just saying it how it is. You know, I'm not criticising the lads big time, but when I watch lots of when I watch a lot of possession in their final third. I can't see why we can't play the game further up the pitch sometimes. You know, I don't know.
Okay, and right, boys and girls, we're going to move on to the middle of the pitch, please. Our middle three, Milivojevic, MacArthur and Gallagher today. Now, I think it's safe to say, I think it was proved by the substitutions that Gallagher was a little bit more tired than he was on Monday night, maybe. He certainly wasn't as effective as he was on Monday night. The MacArthur for me was the standout of the three. I would go probably in my mind, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like your views in the chat. Man of the match performance, Jimmy Mack or Tyreek Mitchell or somebody else. Who do you think for man of the match? But personally, I think MacArthur was just relentless in the middle of the park again today. Guys, anybody want to put their hand up? Thoughts on Gallagher, MacArthur, and Milivojevic? What do we need? Do we need anything extra? Did they do anything you weren't pleased with? Chris, you go first if you want, mate.
Yeah, I think as people have mentioned, I don't think Gallagher was quite his usual self. Mack was definitely the standout one of the three, and then Milivojevic maybe still get up to speed. Sometimes I saw him in a game, sometimes I didn't notice him, but I mean, Leicester insisted on only keeping 2 there all the time, and Chelsea's never been particularly good against us. A lot was left down to Tillemans, who did quite a good job. But
yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, we didn't have anything as the same sort of control that we did against Brighton in midfield today.
Anybody else?
Interestingly, that I just seen in the chat that Joanna said that Gallagher was limping when he went off. I didn't see that. I was in the ground, but maybe he was. But he wasn't quite at the races. So Joanne Phillips said Gallagher got injured. He was limping. I don't know if we can confirm that or not. Anyone else see that?
I didn't see that.
No, I didn't. But Macca, man of the match for me. Really was good going forward. Broke the play up. Luca did his job. I think he did okay. A bit disappointed. So Gallagher in my fantasy team as well. I need points from him as well. So it's always a double bonus when you got a player that does well for your club. But no, he'll play better than that. He'll play worse and still score. We didn't have too many set pieces. He was on set pieces a lot, any corners and free kicks. We only had one corner in the whole game. Yeah, and we didn't have any free kicks really. Well, 1 or 2, didn't we? We didn't have many going into the box. So, we need to be looking at that.
He scored from that corner, didn't he? Slup should have scored from that. Jay, your thoughts on the middle three?
What's been said off already. I think Jess MacArthur was man of the match. He was superb. I think Luke had a pretty decent game. I just don't think Gallagher was with it today, really. He wasn't as good as he has been. I'm not saying he was poor, but he just didn't make the runs. He played all right, but he wasn't as effective as the other games. But I think generally the front three played okay. Just Gallagher wasn't as good as he has been.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I just want to pick up on something in the chat, if you don't mind, guys. Excuse me for going off script here a little bit. But Kathy Thompson, good evening, Kathy. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining us. Her comment was, I wish people would stop Roy bashing. He's gone now. Look to the future. Kathy, what you're going to get from the Red and Blue Review team is nothing but love and respect for Roy Hodgson. When nobody's bashing him, he had a particular style. He was given a job and he was given a budget to do it. Nobody's bashing him. He did it immensely for whatever it was, 4 seasons, and he will always hold a special place in the hearts of the Palace fan base. Nobody's bashing him. What we're trying to do is compare the two contrasting styles of football between what Roy used to play, okay, and how he's set up to play, and what Vieira's doing. It's not a question of bashing Roy Hodgson, because I don't think anybody in this panel has done so. But thank you for your comment. It's quite valid, but thank you. I want to move on now, if we can, to the front three, because I think if we're going to see a change in the team over the next week or so, after the international break, it will be here. Ayew, Edouard, and Zaha. Teresa, I'm going to start with you this time, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Those three up front. How did Ayew do today?
You know, there's a lot I see and hear a lot about Ayew, that he doesn't do much, but he works bloody hard. And I think one of the reasons that Elise got the room that he did is because Ayew had run the pants out of the Leicester defenders. I'll be honest, he does work hard. Zaha, bits, like you said earlier, a bit sulky. Could he have been subbed? Quite possibly.
Cool. Maybe.
Give him a rest.
I've got to agree. Yeah, he maybe Vieira's scared to take
He's
him off.
not, you know, he's not the be all and end all of our team. You know, we can win games without Zaha in it, and we have done before. But if he's looking tired, take him off.
I saw. Funny you should say that, because I saw a report. I can't remember which rag it was in. It was in one of the papers this week, and it's a Palace correspondent. Who's the guy? Actually, it was the Sky News bloke. What's the Sky News guy that normally covers Palace? Can anybody remember? A regular at Sellers Park.
Michael Bridge.
It
It was Michael Bridge. Thank you, Jason. And he was saying that Palace are no longer reliant on their talisman, one-man talisman, because they have invested so well in the transfer window. They've got other very good talents, and they don't have to rely on just hitting the ball to will all the time. They've got other talent throughout the pitch now, and I think it is a valid point. Teresa, before I throw you under a bus, okay?
It sounds like you're just about to, but okay.
So I've got it covered. Pre-show, you were messaging us about a stat that you had, okay?
Yeah.
19 years and 295 days.
Yeah.
Lisi was the first teenage scorer for Palace in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are we going to set the question for anybody else out there, or do you want to give the answer?
Oh, I know what the answer is.
Yeah, go on in.
I know who it was against. Does anyone else out there?
Anybody in Facebook land? So 19 years and 295 days. Elise became the first teenage scorer for Palace in the Premier League since who and when?
Well, the answer's there.
It's already there.
Oh, is it there? Where am I looking?
Clinton Morrison, 1998.
Who did that? Who put that up there?
Super Wednesday, wasn't it?
That question lasted a long time, didn't it?
Did Lyons Ian Lyons is producing in the background? Did he just blow your thunder, Teresa?
Yeah.
Hopeless.
Yeah, hopeless. Just can't get the staff, and we pay him all those thousands of pounds a week to do that job, and he's just blown it. So, okay, right. Any changes for the Arsenal game with those front three? Ayew, Edouard, and Zaha, Mr. Noble.
Yeah, well, I called for this change before today's game. I thought today would have been an ideal opportunity to start Elise instead of Jordan Ayew. I think Ayew could do with a break. I know he's got the international break coming up. But look, yeah, he does work hard, Teresa. I don't disagree with that. But his end product isn't there at the moment. He's lacking confidence. You know, going back to Monday night, he should have stuck that chance away in the second half. That would have killed the game. And I think if you're going to make a change up top, it's got to be Elise at the moment in for Ayew. You can't drop Wilf, whatever you say about him. He can sulk all day, but he can always change a game in a moment. And Edouard up top. And I think Edouard has done enough. Again, I don't think Edouard played as well today as he has in other games, but he's still done enough for me to carry on starting ahead of Benteke. Disappointing with his chance. I think he needs to hit the target there. I know he was close, but he did really well to shape the chance. And then he has to keep his head over it and get it, on target. And he scores then, doesn't he? So.
Well, I'll throw that back to you then, Ian. Do you think our front three, their shots on target are dictated as to by Wilf? With his reactions when somebody has a shot that misses and doesn't go in, or the shot doesn't go to him? Because our team seems to be kind of reluctant to shoot at the net. It tends to go back.
I don't think it's dictated by Wilf at all. No.
Okay.
No, not at all. But I think you can't drop Wilf. You're not going to drop Edouard. So the change is Ayew, isn't it? If you're going to make a change of the front three.
Right, Chris and Jason, I'm coming to you next. Okay, on the same question. Before I do, in the chat, Leon Sounds. Leon, I'm sure you and I have exchanged a message on Messenger very recently. I would love you. I'm sure you're the guy that does your own podcast. Okay, I would like you to come and join us on the Red and Blue Review one night. Please Leon, please make contact with me via Messenger. I've already sent you a message, so it should be easier to do. Jay, I'll go to you. Go to you next. Any change? Do you agree with what Ian said for that change up front?
No, I disagree with Ian. I think that it should be slipping for Ayew. I agree. I think Ayew works hard, but I don't think it's the final quality in the final third. So I'd put slipping for Ayew. Keep the other two. Keep Wilf and keep Edouard. I would also like to see if Slip plays up top. I'd like Zaha and Slip to alternate wings to keep changing over, because Slip can play left and right, and I think Zaha can play left and right as well. So to confuse the other team, keep swapping wings as well. But I think that Slip's got to play. I think Slip's got to start. He's better in front. He's better in front of goal than I.
In that case, then I'm going to ask you another question, a subsequent question to what you've just said. Schlupp, to me, has proved himself, and today was the classic example where he's a great impact player coming off the bench, okay? And he's able to really influence the team for that shorter period. Is he a 90-minute player, though, Joe?
I think he is. If he's got 60 years, maybe not at the moment he isn't. That's why he's not starting. But I think the Arsenal game is another 2 weeks, isn't it? It's another 2 weeks. So another 2 weeks of fitness, Schlupp would probably be 100% for 90 minutes. So I would start Schlupp. He's better going forward, and he can track back. So he's got that work ethic that Ayew's got, but he's better in the final third than Ayew at the moment, or has been. So that's why I would start Schlupp. And then you've got Ayew to come on, and then you've got Elise to come on as well, and you've got Eze next month as well. So. You've got something coming on, haven't you?
Where do we play? Where does Eze even fit into all this? Right, Chris, your turn. Exactly. What do we do with the front three? What would you do?
It's a tricky one. So I think, I'm between all three people just to sit on the fence. I think Ayew would probably be the first one to get dropped for his own benefit, I think. But we know what he is. We know he's just going to be. He's not going to play a perfect through ball or intelligent chip through to someone. He's not going to spray a 6-yard pass to somebody. He's just going to be a menace to the defenders. He's going to be like a Jerome or Wolverhampton or an Easter or just a pain in the bum. But he's just never going to be much of a goal threat either. Wilf, he's not undroppable, but taking him off for the last 10 minutes or so might in the future be a good idea. However, you do just see that bit where he's on that left wing and it's the 85th or 90th minute. You can just see him getting that ball and finally getting it to work. And I see why he's kept on. But
because he can turn it, because he could turn it. That's right.
He's got that bit of magic. And then I didn't even think about Schlupp till it was you, but that's not a bad call because I think he's shone in the Roy team because it's not like he disobeyed orders, but he still had a bit of his own creation, a bit of spark. And if he's a little bit differently, would go into a channel which wasn't like what Roy would ask of his players. He would just do something that changed the game.
I'm reading the comments going through. That's what we're not laughing at. What you're we're laughing at the comments, not what you're saying.
I saw that. You can laugh at both. It's cool.
Ian Noble.
Yeah, Ali on the comments. Rumor has it IU is still running around in circles, which I think is a bit harsh. But
very harsh.
I just want to shout out to the real panel. My mate Paul out there, he says that IU tries hard, but we need to progress to playing players who can influence games rather than those who give lots of effort. Yeah, all the players give lots of effort, and you can't fault Jordan Ayew's work rate. But the time has come for him to step aside. I'll still have him on the bench, and you never know. Bring him on last 20 minutes or so might make a difference. So yeah.
Lady,
you can talk about the fact last time we came from 2 goals behind, Nick. Sorry.
Yeah, go on in. You do that now.
Throw that
in. You do that now.
Okay, so I know the answer to this now because I messaged the real panel. And as you know, Nick, the real panel has got all the answers for Palace Trivia. So anyone else apart from the real panel can tell me the last time we came from 2 goals behind to get something out of a game. There we go.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen,
there's the question.
The real panel is his handle on Twitter. Okay, if you don't know Paul, he is a walking Palace encyclopedia. The guy is immense. Okay, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. I'll be coming. I'm doing an away game with you very soon, I promise you, and I love every minute of them. So if you're not in touch with the real panel on Twitter, go ahead and do so. Mark Bushell, Jason, asked a question, and I'm throwing this straight to you. Question: does Ayew get into any other Premier League side? I don't think he does. He's the weak link. Not my words. Words of Mark Bushell. Jason.
Maybe gets into some of the bottom half teams. Maybe gets into something. Yeah, I think he might get into Norwich or maybe 1 or 2. But not many. The thing is, he does work hard, doesn't he? He does work hard, and he does some good stuff. He wins a lot. He draws a lot of fouls. He's not all bad, is he? He's not all bad at all. But his quality going at the end, the final third isn't good enough. But he does work hard, and he gets a lot of fouls. And I don't dislike him. I don't dislike him. But he's just not quite good enough, is he? He just isn't quite good enough.
Same you, Jay. Not laughing at what you're saying. We're all reading the chat. Teresa's sniggering at the comment from Brett in the chat. He's a donkey with a big butt. I've no idea who you're talking about. Paul Glance in the chat.
You can't. Are you?
No, I'm talking about Ayew. Paul Glance in the chat. You can't use that word because you get banned from Twitter for using that word. Don't you, Ian Noble? Over to you with your answers.
Yeah, I am still. Someone said, Am I released from Twitter jail? No, I'm not. It's a permanent deletion of my account. I'm going to have to reinvent myself. When Nick talked about Twitter, it's the Red and Blue Review Twitter handle that I'm tweeting on at the moment. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'll get my fix through that at the minute.
So finishing off on the game.
Anyway, the answer to the question.
Oh yeah, go on.
So the answer to the question is in the chat. Someone's got the right answer. I can't remember. I've seen it go through. It was indeed the Arsenal away game. I think I'm right in saying we're 2-0 down early on. We came back to draw 2-2. Luke Cooper, well done.
Luke,
I think you got it right. Last
well done, buddy.
2 down.
So that goal from Luisi really lifted the home crowd. It seemed to be like one-way traffic after that. Vieira got his substitutions absolutely spot on. And do you know, we nearly created history today. And hands up if any of you know the answer why we nearly made history. I'll just finish this off. So the Palace fans were in raptures when Schlupp headed in the equaliser against his former side. His goal after 48 seconds is the second quickest by a substitute in the Premier League this season, after his teammate Edouard, who took just 29 seconds against Tottenham. How did we nearly create history today, ladies and gentlemen? Any of you know? No, they don't. So I will give you the answer. Go on in, take a stab.
Is it that all 3 subs came off the bench and scored?
No, all three came off the bench and nearly scored. Had Benteke taken his chance, okay, we would have created history today by with all 3 subs. It's never been done before. So I'm going to finish up on here. I think one subject that none of us have touched on so far tonight is the stats, okay, and the most important stat of all, okay. Again, Kathy, please don't be offended what I'm going to say here, because I am going to compare back to our usual stats from last year, 39% possession. Our stat today, and the one that really stands out, is our possession stat, was 60%. Now, we're playing more attractive football. We've got a much more talented squad. We're playing high possession football, high press football. I, for one, is not negative. I think it's outstanding. Anybody else want to jump on that? Jay, your thoughts?
No, I mean, possession is unbelievable. It's almost double. I mean, I don't know what possession was against Leicester last season or season before, but it must be almost double what we've had before. I mean, you can go back to something we said earlier. We are passing the ball out a lot from defence. So, in terms of possession in the other opposition's half, how much is that? But, our opposition is miles better. And we're keeping the ball better, aren't we? Keeping the ball better, we're passing to each other, making room for each other. It's so much better to watch, isn't it? And, we go back to the crowd clapping the team off on Monday night at half time and even clapping them off today. Fans can see that it's so much more enjoyable to watch. We've got the ball more than the opponents have it. And how many years have we had where we've been literally watching the game and we're literally sitting back and we're just chasing the game? We're not chasing the game anymore. We've got the ball more than opponents. And we're playing better teams than us, aren't we? And we're dictating the game. We're dictating how the game goes. So it's so much more positive. And how many more attempts and goals we have? I think we had double what we had today, didn't we? Yeah.
According to, I was just reading what Laurie just said in the chat. 18 shots on, 18 shots.
And I think Leicester had 9. I think they had 9, did they?
I haven't got that to hand.
But it was double. It was double what they had. So yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, I've got it here.
Brilliant.
I've got it here. 18-9.
18-9.
And on target, ours was 4-5, so we didn't really have our shooting boots on in some respects.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's if you got possession of the ball, you got a better chance of winning a game of football, haven't you? I think anyway. Call me old-fashioned, but keep the ball more, and definitely, we're doing that this season far more than last season for sure.
And our possession was 63% second half. Chris.
Yeah, it's the key thing was half time. You didn't think it was over. Like I said, it was annoying when you didn't cut it back quite correctly for Zaha. But maybe last season, maybe with no crowd there, you think, I could do with taking the leaves out of the gutters or mowing the lawn or something. But this time we thought, no, I'm going to keep watching. It's not over yet. And Leicester started tiring because of their midweek exploits. And you just thought, we're going to do this. We're going to get something out of this game. And it's just such a nice feeling to have that for once. Because, again, it's not against Roy himself as a person. He's amazing. He did work very well with what he had. He didn't have Elise or Anderson or Gahey or Edouard or whoever else. But the football was just such a difficult watch. And you know that 2-0 down at half-time, that would be it. Unless it was Arsenal, apparently. But, yeah, that would be it. And
do you know what? Ian Lyons has just done it again, okay? He was about... I'm coming to you now, guys. He's done it. Look at the screen. The next thing I was going to do was talk about... Because Chris has just mentioned half time. What the hell was that all about half time? Chris, you won't know what we're talking about here, but because you're in Outer Mongolia. But all of a sudden, it was bright sunshine. Then the clouds gathered in a few, 2 or 3 minutes, and it was a monsoon. It was torrential, howling gale, and it went as quick as it came. I've never seen that before at Cellar. Anybody else seen that before?
Not in this country.
No.
Was it Vieira's team talk?
Well, it could have been something along those lines. And it was just bizarre. It was like the winds of change. And then we came out in the second half and we were, again, much better in the second half. Jay?
Can I just mention one thing I haven't mentioned yet, and you might come to it, what is everyone's thoughts on the referee performance today? Because I thought it was terrible.
Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor.
Oh, was it Anthony Taylor?
He blew up every single tackle, every time the ball is blowing up for a foul, and it's so frustrating. I don't know what everyone else thought. My personal opinion was it was just disgraceful. Terrible.
In the first 20 minutes, he did a good job of ignoring the people just falling over, and after 20 minutes, you thought, no, every time someone sits down now, it's a free kick, and Leicester did it all the time. Yeah. We didn't want to do that because it's not suiting our game to keep breaking it up, but he wasn't even assessing the foul, whether it's a foul or not. Wasn't using a linesman. He just, anytime someone fell over, oh yeah, definitely a foul.
Do you know, I find that really, really interesting that Chris says that, okay? Yet in the stadium, we had the same thoughts, okay? I'm sure we all did. There's bloody Anthony Taylor, again, a crap decision. Again, he's looking at his linesman to make a decision. Again, And it's interesting that you're watching a stream 2,000 miles away, and you're thinking exactly the same as we're thinking in the stadium. Teresa, what sort of game did Anthony Taylor have today?
Shocking. Shocking. He didn't pull Leicester up for time wasting. Their goalkeeper, how long did he take? And that throw in?
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sake. No, I didn't like him at all. I don't like him anyway.
Yeah, Leon in the chat saying he thought John Moss was bad. Well, he is, but I don't.
I thought it was Clattenburg in disguise, to be honest.
Did you see that? Go on.
To be fair to John Moss, he had a good game when we played Spurs, didn't he? You know, I know we won, but you know, I thought he did all right for that Spurs game. But I agree with everyone else. Anthony Taylor was poor. Someone told me today that Anthony Taylor sent a player off for giving them a second yellow card in the week in a European game, and he hadn't booked him. The player hadn't been booked, so it's giving him a yellow card and a red card, and he missed. There wasn't another booking. Someone told me that today, so he's clearly not up to it.
Laurie, as you said in the chat, as for the referee and assessor Anthony Taylor would have been summoned to answer for his performance 4 out of 10. So listen, a real credible 1-1 draw against, don't forget, a top end of the table team, another top end of the table team. Nothing to be discussed. Coming up next,
2-2.
Sorry, 2-2. Coming up next for the Palace after the international.
Did you say 1-1?
I did say 1-1. I did. Okay, another London derby, Monday Night Football at the Emirates, Monday the 18th of October, 8 o'clock in the evening kickoff. Who's going out, you lot?
I can't make it.
Shoddy,
I'll be there.
Shoddy. I'll be there with you.
I'm still in two minds because I'm on a long day the next day, which means I've got to be up at 5:15.
Come on, Teresa, you can do it. You can do it. I'll buy you a coffee at half time or a gin and tonic or whatever you fancy.
Oh, well, in that case.
And following that is another home game against Newcastle United on the 23rd of October at a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff, believe it or not, which is quite a rare thing. Jason's dropped off at the moment. I was going to ask Jason if he's going to the Arsenal game, because I am now, thanks to Lord Saunders, going along. Teresa, I'm going to wrap up in a minute, but it'd be remiss of me not to, because you haven't been on for, how long since you were last on?
Oh, couple of months.
Couple of months. Thank you to you and every single one of your NHS colleagues for everything that you have achieved over the last 18 months. I don't care whether you like it or not. You are a hero, and you're a hero in my eyes. You have been fantastic, and every one of your colleagues. Karen Potter, you were out in the chat just a minute ago. You're another one. You are my hero. Thank you so much for what you have done for the nation, all of you people in the NHS. Can any of you drive a petrol tanker, by the way? Right, Ian Noble, last thoughts from you before I wrap up. Positive?
Yeah, very positive today. You know, at half time, I'll turn around to the people I was with. I said, God, I'll take 2 all now. When everyone's going, yeah, we'll take 2 all now. Rigo Samai, I don't think he's watching, but he said, I think I'm going to have a 3-2. I said, Rigo, I'll give you a big kiss if it's 3-2. So he got let off that. So, yeah, could have won it, I suppose, but we didn't. You know, got a point, respect the point in the Premier League. And, yeah, we would have taken that, wouldn't we? But at half time anyway.
Yeah.
Where's he gone? Where's Nick gone? Teresa, tell us about would you take the point? It's Lindsay.
Yeah. I thought it was amazing. I thought to come back from 2-0 down at half time, and I thought our second half was just, it was a joy to watch. But I've got 2 questions. Where's Joel Ward's song? 400 plus games he's played for Palace. We haven't got a song. And where's my
on the
new
Jolene song? And sorry?
What's the second question? Yeah, I'll tell you what was good today, to hear the Yannick Bolasie song back again for Michael Elise running down the wing for me. So that was
really quick. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I was. I just thought I'd jump on just to cover for Nicolas. He's trying to come back in. I don't know what's going on there, but I thought it was a good game today. I thought it's good to see some character, that's for certain. And I don't know whether it's good. What do you guys think about whether it's good enough for do you think it's good that we've got a break at the minute, just to give Eze a bit more time to kind of get back fit?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't like international breaks, Ian. I never have. I find them frustrating. I suppose, if your team's in a bad place and you're not playing very well, then you want a break to take some time to have a look at it. I don't think that's Crystal Palace at the moment. I think we're playing well, and I'd just like to get out there again midweek or next weekend if I could, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think it's a fair point. Right, it's back now. I'll drop off again. See you later.
Cheers. Teresa, give us a positive thought before we sign off for the week or for the 2 weeks.
I'll see you all at the Arsenal game.
Again, yeah, that's my girl. A positive from you, Chris?
It's again, in the international break, it's better that we're going into it after a 2-2 draw rather than losing 2-0 and being a point further behind. But same as last week, it's or Monday, you're not too upset. It's just a bit frustrating. We could quite easily we could be on 10 points now, easily. I mean, no one would object.
What are we on? I can't remember. Is it 7 now? Is it? I think it's quite. You bear in mind we've played so many of the 6. Is it 6? The top teams that we played. We were talking pre-season, if you remember, folks, that we could be going into the October international break cut adrift. Well, we ain't cut off anything. We didn't know how the new squad would gel together under the new manager, the new style of football. Well, I'm filled with optimism. I think we're going to draw a line under it there. Ladies and gentlemen out in Facebook land, out in YouTube land, wherever you're watching, listening, tuning in, please like and shoot. We've got some massive news coming up for you on the show in the next few weeks. We are not going to be sharing it with you, okay? We have some huge news, okay? And we are so excited, okay? On behalf of myself, Nick Philpott, and my massive team of people that I work with here, they are true, lovely people, each and every one of them. Please stay safe. God bless you all. In Facebook land, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time, post the Arsenal game. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night, all. Happy birthday, Joe. Good night, everybody. Good night.